Regretfully admitting it wasn't an accident, I transgressed a boundary. My eyes met Rick's, my husband's best friend, who spoke at our wedding and sat beside my father's casket. When he requested assistance with his belt, nothing should have occurred, but the lingering touch of his fingers, the sudden catch in my breath, and the trembling of my hands betrayed me. The guilt that seeped into my skin like smoke and fabric that night has left a mark I can't erase. Though I'm ashamed of my actions, it's the question I faced in the mirror afterward that haunts me most. Was this incident the first time I crossed a line? First off, I want to express my gratitude to each one who's subscribed to this channel. Your support is invaluable. To our recurring viewers and especially those yet to subscribe, welcome. I'm thrilled you're here. I eagerly anticipate your subscription click. It's the driving force behind this channel. Don't forget to share your thoughts below. I read every comment. Now let me transport you to where it all began. Rick joined us merely 3 weeks after his divorce. My husband, Alan, had extended him the guest room to help him recover. Rick was no stranger in our lives. He graced our holidays, barbecues, weekend poker nights. He was Alan's high school buddy and the type of man everyone admired. Self-assured, captivating, sometimes excessively so. I used to chuckle at how all my friends had a soft spot for Rick. However, the day he arrived with his boxes and placed them in our corridor was when something shifted. His gaze lingered too long on me, and his smile appeared more questioning than cordial. Despite my attempts to convince myself otherwise, I instinctively recognized we were playing with danger. Alan had faith in him. He trusted me. This trust, so overwhelming, made me careless. One Thursday evening, while Alan was engrossed in work and I was at home sorting laundry, Rick descended the hallway, wet from a shower and bare-chested. He stood in the doorway and asked, "Norma, could you help untwist this belt for me?" I hesitated. The atmosphere altered. My heart quickened. I approached him, each step feeling heavier than the last. The leather belt was worn, his jeans only partially buttoned. I reached for the buckle with both hands. Our fingers brushed. He didn't flinch. Nor did I. A moment of stillness ensued. So intense it silenced the ceiling fan and the wall clocks ticking. Then I took a step back. However, I first caught his gaze, and he mine, bearing an unsaid, forbidden sentiment. That night, following Alan's return and our shared dinner as if nothing transpired, I slipped away to the restroom, locked the door, and scrutinized my reflection, questioning myself. What have I just done? Yet, the answer was already clear to me, and it pained me to acknowledge that this was merely the start. In the days that followed, I endeavored to pretend that encounter with Rick never materialized. I steered clear of him in the kitchen, kept conversations concise, and lingered in my room for extended periods, feigning headaches or unfinished tasks. However, remorse is not a secret you can conceal. It seeps into your laughter, stiffens your tone, and makes silence feel like retribution. Contrastingly, Rick seemed unfazed by the situation. This paradoxically exacerbated my distress. He would subtly observe me during Alan's conversations. He would leave the bathroom door ajar just enough to be noticeable. One time he brushed by me in the corridor and murmured, "Did you sense it too?" I remained quiet, yet my silence conveyed everything. Alan seemed oblivious or perhaps preoccupied. He'd been putting in longer hours at work, consumed by deadlines and office politics. He'd still greet me goodbye every morning and goodnight every evening. However, during those hours, something had shifted. Perhaps it was me. Perhaps it was us both. And then Rick overstepped a boundary. One afternoon while Alan was at work, I was in the backyard tending to my small cactus garden. Rick appeared outside with a glass of lemonade and his phone. "Norma," he said, sitting next to me, "what's our situation? We can no longer deny what exists." I recall standing up so quickly that the gardening tools clanged against the stones. "There is nothing there, Rick," I replied sharply, more for my own reassurance than his. "And if there was, it's over." He simply gazed at me, neither angry nor ashamed, merely tranquil, excessively so. "That night," Rick messaged me, "you are deceiving yourself. I'll wait until you stop." I erased the message, but I couldn't expunge the flush that spread across my face, or the apprehension that Alan might someday uncover it. However, the dread materialized more swiftly than anticipated. In just 2 days, Alan returned home early from work. While I was brewing tea in the kitchen, he entered and positioned my phone on the counter. It was unsecured. His visage seemed peculiar, vacant yet tense. He claimed he was searching for the shopping list, he whispered. This appeared on the screen instead. Rick's most recent message. When can we meet again? My heart plummeted to my toes. Norma, Alan said, his voice cracking slightly. What is this? A prolonged silence ensued. The longest I had ever experienced. My mouth gaped, but no sentences issued forth. In that instant, the secure little realm we had crafted together, me, Alan, and even Rick in the spare room, started to disintegrate. I wish I could claim ignorance, invent an alibi, or attribute the matter to misinterpretation. However, I cannot. I met Alan's gaze and saw a shattered man. I saw love replaced by disillusionment. I saw frustration sewn into anger. Therefore, I confessed. Something transpired, I murmured, barely audible. It was not physical. Not entirely. But I overstepped a boundary in my heart. I am deeply remorseful. He examined me for a prolonged period before uttering the calmest words I had ever heard from him. Do you regret it because you're sorry or because you were caught? I remained silent as both statements held truth. Alan departed. He mentioned he required time. I spent that night alone in the house with Rick absent. I didn't know when he left, but his room door was ajar and his wardrobe half empty. 2 days elapsed without communication from Alan. Then on the third day, he returned home and sat opposite me at the dining table. There were no tears in his eyes. Only fatigue. You wish to know the truth, Norma? He murmured softly. It appears we both were concealing secrets. This revelation made my heart constrict. What do you imply? I queried. He gazed at his hands prior to responding. Don't you recall those nights when I claimed I was working overtime? In reality, I wasn't. I was with another person, discussing, confiding, attempting to decipher the issues in our marriage. Who, pray tell? I asked, already readying myself. He met my gaze and uttered a name I had not anticipated hearing. Sylvia. My sister. The moment my soul seemed to crumble within me, he added. There was no physical involvement, Alan clarified, but it was emotional, possibly even more damaging. I leaned on her instead of you. And now, we find ourselves in this predicament, I concluded, rising from the table. The air grew oppressive. My hands trembled. Betrayal enveloped me like a bitter wind. Yet this time it was not merely my actions that had caused it. I was also submerged within it. Rick did not return. He left a note in his vacant chamber stating only, this was never about love. Merely inquisitiveness, apologies for any disruption. Sylvia and I never spoke again after that, and our silence turned permanent. Alan and I attempted counseling. We attended 4 sessions before he confided he could no longer continue. I still love you, he told me. But I can't trust you. Without that, there is nothing left. He departed the following week, leaving me alone in the house where everything transpired. The guest room stands vacant, the garden outside withers, and the belt, the one Rick needed help with, is absent, yet it haunts my dreams. That fleeting instant of hesitation, that moment of senseless indulgence. I've learned that betrayal need not shout. Sometimes it murmurs through the crevices of comfort, treading lightly across your living room. Often, it dons a smile and strolls unshod on your carpet. And at times, it appears cloaked as an innocent plea for assistance. If I could turn back the clock, I would have chosen to depart. But I did not, and I'm left bearing that burden. Appreciate your attention and engagement with this narrative. If it stirred any feelings within you, or if you have a tale about remorse, deception, or recovery to share, I invite you to voice your thoughts in the comment section. Let's engage in a genuine dialogue. Should you find this story impactful, kindly like, spread, and subscribe to our channel. Your backing sustains this community and provides significance to such stories. They offer comfort to someone else out there who may feel alone. Until we meet again, stay brave and truthful.